what's up, everybody? What's going on, Bob?
What's happening, baby girl?
I took a nap, and so I feel like I'm like 15 steps behind. I'm still a little discombobulated. I fell asleep watching the NBA draft. Uh, I know that I only knew like three guys that got drafted, and one of them, which is I tried to stay awake long enough to see, and he went, I think, fifth overall, was that kid, whatever Suggs from Gonzaga who made that buzzer
Jalen
beater.
Suggs.
Jalen, that's right. Yeah, he went to I think Orlando, and so I was just watching that. I just woke up and they were like probably like on the 28th pick or something. So I don't think I slept that long, but
So I thumbed through it. When I got done just a little bit ago, I thumbed through what I saw. There was nothing in there that really surprised me much. And the one thing about the NBA draft is with the G League now that they have,
I noticed that.
with having the G League, the NBA draft just doesn't have the luster that it had once before. It doesn't, because all these guys, you remember, like, all these guys were the top prospects from college. There may have been a few foreign guys out there or a few high school kids going into the draft, but now it just seems like nobody stays in college long enough to build a name or a reputation. So the
I
draft
know.
seems meaningless.
Yeah, I agree. And what's up, Peyton and Don? We'll get to the Reds in just a few minutes. Yeah, and also Peyton Westbrook going to the Lakers. I did see that today while I was at work, and I'll grab that in just a second. But yeah, I know that a lot of people were upset about it, but they were trying to erase the one and done rule in college. We're making guys stay and going to school and play, and so I at that point in time when they started that, I was like, I don't give a shit. I don't watch basketball, like, but at the same time, I didn't watch basketball, nor did I care, but I like defended that because, years and years and years of watching the University of Kentucky get this super team for 1 year and then immediately go in, and the next year it's a whole new team. Like every year, just turning over, kids in there, and then they were like talking about, like this year, how they were going to sell jerseys with their names on it and, the kids getting money. And me and Shelby actually argued about this quite a few times. I disagree. I don't think that should be a thing. They're in school. At the end of the day, they are in school trying to build a career for themselves. And, whether that be through sports or education. And, the NBA, if they go there, that is a career. And I'm talking across all sports, not basketball, but this is, basketball is the root of this conversation. Um, and so, I'm fine with like the, occasional, like the guys from Australia, Turkey, whatever, that go into the draft. I like that. And I like that they allow that. It's not just like having a country farm team over there, and they actually draft them just like they would college kids. But I noticed, because it was like the second guy that got drafted overall came out of a G League, and that was the first time I watched the draft last year, but I didn't. It was all college kids and then a couple of the foreign kids, and so I didn't notice that. So I don't know if it's this year or it's just a starting thing the last couple of years, but I was really like not happy about the idea of people going to the G League and getting drafted from there. Like I see the G League as like a farm team. Like you have to get drafted from school to go to the farm team to go to the major league sport. Like that's how it should be, like baseball.
And so, just out of curiosity, and this is where my argument comes in, because you know what? At the same time, NBA teams want to win. They want to draft the best possible players. The
Which is
G League,
understandable.
the G League is supposed to be just like minor league NBA competition. So it's supposed to
Yeah.
be a higher level of competition. But guess what? Nobody watches it on TV. You
I
know,
will.
so
You
I
have to be
mean,
really bored because I did watch a couple G League games at the beginning of the year this year.
okay, well then, good perspective then. So you've got this G League that doesn't really. It's just kind of there. It's kind of like the XFL or whatnot. It's there. It serves a purpose, but it doesn't do anything for the marketing of these kids. I think that's the G League. I think that's the reason why they're letting these kids make money in college, which I disagree with too. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
you
don't
should be.
agree with it 100%.
I think amateur sports should be amateur sports. You know what? If the university makes us some money, that they give them an allowance or something to that effect. But I don't think that they should be receiving a paycheck because of their name. I don't think that that's
Right.
right for. I think that if the school wants to provide them with a few more, I don't know, an extra meal ticket or something else within the school or something to that effect,
Yeah,
I think that's
see,
great.
that was the argument, that I was that was like my original argument with the whole college athletes getting paid. You know, is like they pay to go to school. And obviously the really good ones don't pay to go to school. They get their things covered for them, with scholarships and whatnot. But it's like, okay, you have to take sports just as a job category as is like a teaching category or any science or medical. You don't pay those kids because they're good at their school. Like the kids in nursing school, they have to do like all these different sections of college. I'll just say it like that, is they do unpaid interns and stuff like that, but you're going to pay these kids to play basketball while they're trying to compete for a job to get paid to play basketball. And it kind of takes away from the purpose.
I mean, that's the whole thing. The only time, I can remember back when a kid would go to the NBA early from college, say like his sophomore and junior year, because he had a poor family that he wanted to feed. That was the reason why. That was the
Yeah.
only reason, because they needed money. That makes sense. That made sense to me. I just don't think. I think you should keep amateur sports what they are, and keep it as pure as humanly possible. Now, I don't know that I like the way that it's going to be. I seen where Christian Lander, the kid that went to IU early last year, the freshman guard, I seen where he signed some. I want to say that he's playing video games and using his name to get paid. I
But
mean,
that's not basketball. That's
but it's
basically
because
like
of,
a,
but it's because of that rule.
right. I mean, like, well, they're allowing like the whole NFT things and stuff in college, because I know it started in college football. I believe last year, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the first college football player ever to release an NFL or NFT," and which I don't get those either. But um, like if you're gonna use your platform to make money from something else, I think that's okay, because that'd be like a college basketball player doing what we do, talking about sports and getting monetized and making money from YouTube, but he got all of his followers and subscribers because he had a good sports following. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with using your name once you build a platform.
Yeah, and you know
But I,
what?
I just feel like if you're considered a student, you should not be getting paid for doing what you're supposed to be paying to do.
Well, and here's the thing. That education should be payment enough. That $40,000 a year that it costs to go to school at one of these high Division I schools.
Yeah, like I'll come back to the University of Kentucky. It costs a lot of money to go there, and if you get a scholarship and they're paying you to go there, like paying for your school to go there, yeah, you shouldn't be making any money, because people who are going to school there that aren't on either one their parents' money because they're rich or whatever, are probably going to be paying for those loans for years and years to come. And so they're not getting paid because they're good at school. So you
Yeah,
shouldn't be getting paid because you're good at basketball.
I didn't finish paying off my college loans until I was in my 30s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm only 25 and I didn't finish school, but I still, have a good chunk of money that I owe to them.
And you know what? I think this is a conversation that is it's kind of like I don't know. It seems like it really is going to lead nowhere, even though and Steven is that we both take about the same stance on it. I feel like we're getting off the point. the NBA draft is kind of lackluster this year, and I wasn't really that excited when I saw the names going out. It just didn't strike me as interesting.
The only thing that I was kind of interested in is that I was walking around either yesterday or today at work. And, we have all these different TVs with different sports related, during the daytime before like the first baseball game of the day starts, or, football season before the first NFL, or during the week, whatever. It's just sports news. And they have like different ones on there. And the only thing about the draft that I was curious if you heard anything about it, there's this one kid who said he was opting out of playing for Ohio State basketball to go to the NBA draft. And I just wanted to know if you heard anything about that, because like the TVs don't have sound or subtitles, so I'm just looking at titles.
So there's an Ohio State player that opted out to go to the draft.
I don't know if he already played somewhere else or if he already played with Ohio State, but the headline read like he chose to opt out of playing for Ohio State to go straight to the draft, or like go into the NBA draft or something. And I was just curious if you knew him or, anything, because, you follow the Big Ten.
Was it EJ Liddell?
I mean, it could have been. I don't know. It was yesterday or today, and it was headlining, and they talked about it for a good 2 hours. They interviewed the kid. I didn't have any sound. I only had the title to run off of, and so, I ended up went and find somewhere where I could watch something I could hear.
Yeah, the only two that it could possibly be is EJ Liddell or Dwayne Washington, and I don't know which one it would be. I haven't been watching much sports news because I've been so busy at work, actually working. So,
all right. Well, we're gonna just be done with the NBA draft. I figured I didn't put it in the title. I figured I'd just touch on it for a minute because that's what I did today. But to Peyton's comment right here, Russell Westbrook is officially a Laker. They traded him and he came with a first-round draft pick from this year, and I think like a second-round draft pick from next year. But they're giving up Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, there's someone else, and like 2 or 3 draft picks. And I'm just like sick of seeing this headline. It's a different player, but same headline. The Lakers lost. They didn't make it to the championship, so now they're gonna go build another super teams.
I don't think I love Russell Westbrook. Don't take anything away from that. I do love Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook is also 32 years old. He's coming up in the aging there, and I like Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell. I think those are 2 really good basketball players.
I didn't really know the third player that they had in that trade. I don't think he was a starter or anything.
I'm just saying that I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook is over the hill, but I'm saying that
I like Russell Westbrook. I mean, he burns me on 2K. Literally, this is my only 2K story I'm gonna tell today. But so I was playing my player, and they decided. Okay, so I was like, it was before our stream the other day, and I haven't got too far into it because I had recently bought the game, and I bought it late because I wasn't gonna buy it. And then I was like really bored, and it was on sale for like $15 at Walmart. So when I was going to buy cards one day, so I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it, and we can just fiddle on it until Madden or whatever. And so yeah, I saw that. So I'm just playing it, and we have like 30 or 45 minutes before our stream, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play one game. I'm not a starter, so I can usually fast forward through a big chunk of the game, right? And then it was like, you have to go to practice, and I was like, shit. So I like got through this practice as fast as I could, and then it had to have been a coach practice, which takes even longer. And I was like, man, I don't have very much time. And so I was like, I'm gonna try to play this game yet still. And then so I hop into this game, and I'm just clicking through everything like as fast as I can so I can get through this game before the stream. And then I realized they put me in as a starter and didn't tell me. And I was like, oh. And, my first game was against wherever he is playing. I can't even remember at this very moment because I just think about this story. And my guy's only like a 71, 73 overall. Not that great yet because he's still like a young, early rookie. And it just comes up on my screen. It was like your matchup, Russell Westbrook, 97 overall. And let me tell you, that was the hardest game of 2K I've ever played. And I got burned. Like, I had to pause it because I was getting so frustrated. And I was like, I'll finish this game after the stream. We barely won by like 1 point. It went into overtime. And my dude was so tired he was not able to make anything. It was my starting debut and probably the worst game I ever played on there with him.
That's pretty good. I comment to what Don was saying. That is probably the smartest move that EJ Liddell could have made because this NBA draft is kind of jank in my mind. So to go back to Ohio State, I think that strengthens the whole conference of the Big Ten this year because he's a really a good player, and I want to see the conference as strong as possible because it gives us the best chance at running to the national championship. So good for him for not going. He may have got drafted in the second or third round, but I'm kind of glad to see him opt out because he doesn't seem to be quite ready for that leap. So I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, and so yeah, Shelby said sad that Kuz and Montrezl Harrell aren't with the Lakers anymore, but she said Montrezl Harrell's mom cuts her cousin's hair. So okay, that's kind of cool.
So you know what I like Kuzma and I like Montrezl Harrell and Washington.
I didn't like Kuzma last year, but this year I started to appreciate him. Last year I got drafted to the Lakers, so I didn't like any of them.
But you know what?
I paid attention to him this year, and I really appreciate him because he was a key role player. He had to step up this year and become a starter.
I'm just with that trade and talking about that, I'm just afraid that Russell Westbrook and LeBron are just. I want to say that they're past their time to win a championship. They're going to play more of a supporting role in that aspect now. I mean, I know that they're going to be the two that are scoring. I know that he's only 32 years old, blah, 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 blah. But you're more prone to injury. You're more prone to wearing out. You're not the same guy as you was when you're 22 as when you're 32. So I
mean, we can use that argument, or we can jump over to the MLB and look at what Joey Votto's been doing.
But Joey Votto, that's a totally different dynamic. It has nothing.
I mean, I agree with you, but if we want to talk about old men doing great things,
no, but see,
that's all I can think about this week.
Well, I just, LeBron's what, 36?
He's about the same age as Joey.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron's 36, and he's lost a step. He's not as fast as he was. That's why
LeBron was fine last year. Like, he was motivated. He was fine, and then I think this year it really caught up to him. And this is the year that showed his age for the first time.
I feel that Joey Votto can play this level of baseball as long as his eyes stay good, because he's in good enough shape that he only has to be physical in bursts. And by the way, not to mention the 6 home runs in the first inning of the or however many games that is now, we're getting into Major League Baseball history. He's coming up on Major League Baseball history.
Well, not even just about the home runs. Is like 5 games ago that he made the benchmark of 4th all-time Reds RBI, and since he made that, he's already almost to Pete Rose for the number 3 spot. Look, Joey. But the thing about Joey is, and I was really excited to talk about the Reds today because I think there's a lot of good things to say, and there's a lot of questionable things that I have to talk about. But like Joey Votto is obviously a big topic of that conversation because of, like you said, he is now the 3rd player ever to hit 2 home runs 2 games in a row. Behind Jay Bruce and I think Pete Rose, right?
It was somebody from the Big Red Machine, but I can't remember who.
It was either King Griffey or Pete Rose. I'm pretty sure. It was 2 home runs in 2 games. It was Jay Bruce and then one guy in 1972.
Yeah, it might have been
Well,
Pete Rose.
but the thing is, okay, but I want to come back to a comment that he had at the beginning since I told him I'd come back to it. Yeah, I'm super glad that this series turned out a lot better than, we thought it would, because I know I was in here by myself that day and I was talking to you about it and you were like, maybe we could have a miracle win. And I was like, no, we could definitely win those games, but I'm not expecting very much at that point in time. I was just, it was a bad day to have to stream by myself because I was so irritated with sports that entire week. Like, it was probably the worst sports week I've had since the Super Bowl. And so yeah, it was just bad. But I think that Joey acts like he knows he's the man because currently he is the man. And he's lived long enough in the league to know the difference between being the man and not being the man. And I thought it was really cool because, like, we all know that Joey's not a saint. And he loses it and he breaks things and he gets mad and cusses. But he went to one of the youth camps, the RBI camp or something. And then he did a press conference and he was like, look, I need to stop doing that. I need to stop being crazy. And I'm going to come out and make this promise. I watched this during the pregame today and he was like, I'm not going to break stuff anymore. I'm still going to play with heart. But I'm going to try to treat the umpires with more respect, basically, is what he said. And then the other teams and everything. And I was like, I respect you a lot for saying that because you realize how crazy you get sometimes. And so I think we're going to see a lot more chilled out Joey. But I think he's going to try even harder because he was like, he said someone asked him or said something to him about hitting homers, and he was like, well, duh, I'm trying to hit homers. I'm setting, I'm creating history right now. Like, obviously I'm trying. But yeah, like, it was 6 games straight, 8 home runs, and that's impressive for anybody.
No. Yeah, he's coming up on a Major League Baseball record if he makes 2 more games in a row. But, all that being said, here we are in Chicago. We just got rid of 3, I got to say, pretty worthless pitchers that were released. And we got 3 guys for the bullpen that all have some really good qualities. One has a great slider and was underused by New York Yankees, the Cessna, whatever his name is.
Cessna is really good. I fell in love with Cessna watching him pitch 1 inning.
Well, you know what? He was on the radar early in the season, and they were and there was a trade that they were trying to make. I think it was preseason for him, and it didn't work out. And then he got traded to Minnesota or someplace, and then the Yankees traded back for him. So it worked out. They still got him back, which he didn't have much of a role in New York, so he's underutilized. That was a great pickup. They got rid of Osich, and I don't even know who else. Be good riddance.
Osich could go,
Yeah, and then these other 2 guys, both of them come in and pitch great.
And I liked Cessa, and I liked the guy who played today. But the third guy, I wasn't a huge fan of him, but I don't know anything about him.
Well, he doesn't have as good a stuff as the other 2, but if 2 out of those
has an Amir Garrett ERA.
But the 2 out of the 3, the lefty throws a lot like Garrett. He gets out right-handed batters better than he does left, though. But anyway, if 2 out of 3 stick, that's a win for the bullpen. Now you got Michael Lorenzen that's almost ready to come back.
We got Lucas
Sims.
and Jay. By the 5th of August, I believe they should both be back.
And so, you're coming into now you're hitting the home stretch. Nick Castellanos, he's getting closer. But you know what? And this is good for this team to let him get a break. He needs a break. And to let Shogo and the Punisher, God, I can't even think of his name. Aristides get some playing time in, which is good for going forward too. Shogo's finally starting to swing a better bat. So but it's because he's playing every day.
Yep, that I was just having a conversation with Philip, the other day. We were watching a game and they were like, "Why do you always talk so highly about Shogo? Like his ER or his batting average is like one something." And I was like, "Because they're not utilizing him correctly this year, and he's not getting as much playing time. He's more of a pinch hitter than a player." And I was like, "If they let him start three out of six, at least half of every game, he's gonna start hitting really well, and it's gonna, it was close to 300, but at the beginning of the season, and I was like, it's not that he's a bad player. I was like, he just needs more time, like active." And
Yeah, so at the end of the day, the double that he hit in the gap, whether that was last night or tonight, I'm not sure which. I can't remember which day. They've been scoring so many runs, it's kind of hard to keep up with. But anyway, that was the best swing that he's had in a while. He actually looked like he should look.
Oh, man, I'm a Shogo super fan.
Yeah, and you know what, and I think that if there was going to be a trade and they were going to trade him or anybody like that, they would have. I think all the Raptors pitching right now, because I think they're pretty well set on Farmer playing short, and and Nick Senzel's getting
Farmer is the second best bat in the National League through the month of July, right behind that dude. Yeah, right behind that guy from the Braves, Freddie Freeman. So that's the only person hitting better than him right now. And that's crazy because, like, he's not the guy you think would be, other than Joey. Joey's going to be in that conversation if he keeps hitting like this. But, like, he's not normally that guy, and I feel like he's really coming into a starting role. I think he was a little thrown off being put in the number 3 spot today. It kind of got in his head like he felt like he had to do more. But, he still got 3 hits.
Yeah, 2 or 3 hits, and he still got some RBIs, and he still put the ball in play, and that's what he needs to do. I think he's the shortstop. Stop trying to go out and buy a shortstop in this trading.
I think David Bell's starting to see that too. The fact that every day he's doing better and better and better, improving, and he's really good at the position.
Yeah, and the thing of it was he had been hurt most of. He had the abdominal injury that made it really difficult to run. So
also, talk about injuries. We're going to be getting Moose and Senzel back soon.
I see, and from what I heard today when I was listening, that Senzel is not going to go straight back into center field. Senzel is going to be platooning kind of like Farmer and bouncing positions around, since he's such a good infielder and outfielder. So he's not going to be in one spot specifically. And I bet right now I'm going to tell you that they are not going to sit Jonathan India. So
there's no way. He's too explosive, man.
So you're going to see Moustakas playing third base. He will be covering him and Suarez will be splitting time at third. I have a feeling, until one of them decides that they're going to hit, and that's fine. That's probably a good spot. I think that's fair. That injury that Moustakas has is one of those things that you can do everything while you're hurt, but you just can't do it high speed. So he has just got to take that. He's got to be very ginger with that injury. So it's going to take him a little while to get totally healed up. But man, like I said, we're coming back together at the right time.
And I called it. We were talking about the standings and what it was going to take to get us to the playoffs. And I was like, either we have to beat the Brewers out, or the Dodgers or Padres have to decline. And I'm pretty sure the Padres are in that right now. They're slowing down. I've been watching them pretty closely. The Brewers have not slowed down.
No, the Brewers they're killing it.
I mean, they're playing Pittsburgh right now, and that's another reason why they haven't lost. And they had a really good showing against the White Sox.
Yeah, the Brewers won 12-0 today.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get our crack at Pittsburgh, and hopefully we perform the same. But speaking of the Cubs, they were like talking about Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, all of them, they were hoping to get them in to bat one more time, and they were like, one last time at a Cubs home game, and is literally the second that game ended, it was like Anthony Rizzo is now a Yankee.
Yeah, I think he was traded during the game, so they couldn't put him in. I'm pretty sure. But you know what? But here's the thing. And here's the bad thing, that Chicago's not that far off. They're not that far off from being, a top tier team in that division. However, that's one of those cities that just likes to abandon ship, and then to abandon ship on Anthony Rizzo, who has been one of your mainstays for the last 10 or 11 years, is, in my mind, it's a great thing for the Reds, because he's a really good player, and sending him to the American League makes me happy. So bye-bye, Anthony Rizzo. I hope that, Chris Bryant and Javi Baez go right behind him as well. So
I feel like if there was only one player to keep and get rid of everyone else, I feel like they would want it to be Chris Bryant. And not even from a performance standpoint, but a marketing standpoint. I feel like Chris Bryant is the face of their team.
Rizzo has been.
He has been, but I feel like Chris Bryant is more so now. And I feel like Javi is also one of those people, but I am so sick of playing him so many times a year. He can go.
I just don't like him. I'm
just okay. So they did a side by side of the game. Amir got the 7-game suspension, which was induced from Javi Baez, and then they had from the other day, when he hit that walk off and he was running his mouth and he threw his bat over at him and all that, that looked way worse. And he avoided a suspension. He just got a minimal fine that they will not disclose. So they're probably like, hey, give me $5 and I'll leave you alone.
Here's where that's wrong. That is utter and complete biased bullshit.
No, yeah. I mean, I can – hang on. I'm going to post the I'll let you pull it up because it'll work faster for you, but I will post it in the chat so you can see it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. In the first incident, Javier Baez, when he was in the dugout, he came out onto the field, which is a big no-no. And he didn't get a suspension at all, but Amir Garrett, 7 games. And then he came out of the dugout jawing, and then, the way to first base. I wish I had a microphone down there on the field just so I could have heard it, but that should have been an easy 5-gamer for just what happened there on his way to first. If that would have been Amir Garrett, he would no longer be a Red right now.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I mean, exactly. Yeah, I just want like to have this pulled up because it's only like a, oh my God. My dogs. You can hear them? They are so mouthy.
I can't hear them.
I mean, Bella's being crazy. But it's... I'll find it in a minute and I'll post it and we can show it. The Twitter post, that is. And it's only like 10 seconds long, but it'll take me a minute because my thing is being slow. But it's so frustrating. Like,
I cannot understand why they, you know what? I would love to have an explanation for why there was not a fine handed out.
I mean, it's exactly like what you said, very.
The only thing I can think of was because the game was technically over when that run was scored, and maybe they were looking at it that it wasn't during the game.
I mean,
I'm just trying to come up with some kind of BS explanation that they could have had. I mean, honestly. But see, that's just it. The rules in baseball they've got to be more streamlined. They've got to be more clear.
They have to be consistent too.
Well, that's the next word that would be out of my mouth. It's got to be more. It's got to be more fair than. because that I just didn't understand. I still don't understand. We were sitting there debating it the next morning with Cubs fans, and they're like, "Dude, he deserves a 7-game suspension and a fine." That's total bullshit and uncalled for.
Yeah, they did fine him, but it's undisclosed. They won't tell anyone how much it was actually. Me, Philip, Shelby, and Amanda have a group chat, and right now mostly we just talk about uh the Reds baseball and everything. Okay, here I found it. Yeah, click on that and pull it up, and then share your screen. It's only like I said, like 10 seconds long, but it's a side by side of the two incidents, and both times Amir Garrett never steps off of the mound until after. And the thing is Amir Garrett knew better this time, and he didn't engage with him. He just walked away. I don't know that there's any sound. It's just showing what Garrett got suspended for. He never leaving the mound. And then what Javi did.
Yeah, I don't see any difference in anything there.
Except for the fact that Javi Baez jumped over the bench in the first one.
Yeah, you know what? And that deserves a suspension, because here's the thing. Here was my argument for that. If there is any other sport, hey, if you're an NBA player and you're sitting on the bench and you come off the bench and provoke a fight with a guy that's playing on the floor, what do you think the NBA officials are going to do? They're going to kick you out of the game and you're going to get suspended. Yep. Football, same rule. You're going to get a 15-yard penalty and you're going to get ejected for starting the fight from the bench. In Major League Baseball, it's up in the air. I don't know who makes the rules, but they definitely must get their pockets or their palms greased a little bit, because that is just.
Yeah, I mean, I think Javi should have been suspended for both occasions, and yet, I'm surprised he didn't fine Amir for saying nothing to him.
Well, and that's the thing. You know what? Yeah, and you're right, Shelby. Immediately suspended. I think we were making this argument once before. I mean, for Castellanos, just because he looked down at a guy and flexed, he got 2 games.
He literally screamed, "Let's effing go." He didn't say anything. The catcher for the other team stood up and started swinging, coming after him. Nick walked away. He was excited. How's that any different than a bat flip after a home run?
How is that throwing? How is that any? I mean, he basically threw the bat towards the pitcher onto the field.
Javi literally threw the bat on the field after he never stopped running his mouth. And if you watch on that tweet later on, he starts ripping his clothes up and still yelling. He never stops. There is sound on the original video of just Javi, and they hate Garrett. They hate him because, like I said,
that's a really good.
He's been into some stuff before.
That's a really good point, because Amir Garrett is labeled as a troublemaker, but here's the thing: Javi Baez is just as bad. And the other thing is that who was the umpires behind the plate this game, or who was the official crew? You don't know, because maybe since they had ears on it, maybe they just said they didn't hear nothing. Maybe they just said it was just good banter, and maybe that's why MLB didn't step in. I don't really know, but it's stupid to talk about this much, just because I think it's unfair. But then again, they may not have wanted to suspend him, maybe because he's getting ready to be traded. I feel
like that's more of a reason. I think that's more of a reason to suspend him.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Good riddance, and wherever Mark is at tonight, they're going to dismantle your team.
And the funny thing, you know what made me so mad about Mark is he was going all over Twitter talking about how Javi deserved an extension for that. Like he was praising him.
Please, I never liked Javi Baez.
He was praising him for that.
Oh, but Mark, he doesn't see anything other than what he wants. For crying out loud, all he hit was a pop up. Hit a sacrifice fly ball. If there had been 3 outfielders out there, that wouldn't even have been anything. It's not really like a walk off hit. It was like a walk off. Hey, I hit it deep enough to score a run. So it wasn't like he even did that much. And then to be arrogant enough to break out the broom and then watch your team lose the next 3 games, ha ha, you motherfucker, ha.
I literally, I lose more respect for them. Here we go. I found the one with sound. Let's go. YouTube. Paste. There you go. That's the hobby video with sound.
Oh, I want sound.
Well, it's like the TV version. But so you can hear what the announcers say.
He is screaming right at Garrett. He is looking at Garrett, screaming at Garrett. Didn't get his attention.
He starts pulling his clothes up and everything.
But he's still talking, and then he throws the bat right at him. And you can see. Immediately a scream, and he is screaming right at Garrett. He is looking at Garrett, screaming at Garrett. Didn't get his attention. But he's still talking, and then he throws the bat right at him.
Watch him. He starts pulling his clothes up.
And
He's still going.
You can see chair saying, go, 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 go.
Like,
and immediately
mad,
and he is screaming right.
And look at that. Amir Garrett ignores him because he knows if he engages it with him, even with just words, he's getting thrown out.
But he's still talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah. What a waste of space. I hope he gets traded.
It was more
you know what? I really don't even
care. In his direction. And
that's
the point.
I really don't care because he's not really that good. Whatever.
He's overrated right now. But if there's any desperate Cubs fans or Javi Baez super fans, I've got a lot of cards you can buy off me. I don't want them. I got some nice, actually. Like, me and Shelby have pulled a handful of really nice Javi Baez cards.
Yeah, you know what? Anthony Rizzo, at least he's a quality guy.
Anthony Rizzo is a man baby.
True, but he's not a piece of shit.
No, I mean just his face. His face looks like he's 40, but with a baby face.
Yeah, I didn't read all the details of that trade, but I don't know what the Yankees gave up for him. But
yeah, she said some of them are sick. We pulled some cool Javi Baez cards.
Yeah, so, but anyway, and here's the thing. The Reds, I think it's very important that they have a good series this weekend in New York. They need some redemption in New York.
Well,
Don, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Don. That's what they were talking about a little bit. I think it was during the game. It wasn't even like post-game yet, as both teams have a terrible turnaround. I think New York's coming from Atlanta, and we're coming from Chicago, and we play tomorrow. But the Mets have had a really rough series battling with the Braves. So maybe they're worn down. We were having batting practice all week.
Well, Sunday is going to be the tough one because it's Gutierrez who the Mets crushed, and it's against Stroman who crushed us. So that's going to be.
Plus, we got Sonny on tomorrow, and we don't know what Sonny we're going to get.
Well, no. Well, I don't think we will have the Sonny that we had this week. That was
really rough to watch.
I've never seen Sonny Gray pitch two. No, we're not. We're
in New York.
I've never seen Sonny Gray have 2 back-to-back games that were not. He's a competitor. He will be out there. He'll give us 6 good innings.
I really hope so. Did you see that Castillo got on base twice today? And then when he went on there the third time, they said they let him hit again just in the off chance. But he said, Well, I was just listening to the announcers talk, and they were like, he's going up there to talk to him, and whatever he's saying is, I don't know how you got on base with those first two, but whatever you did, do it again. But, like, it made me so happy watching Castillo today because he just had a good time all day.
And
He got that hit. He was just smiling all day, having a good time, and it makes me feel good seeing Reds players that happy.
before these last two games, Sonny Gray has been on point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm not discrediting Sonny Gray.
He went 7 innings in Kansas City, only gave up 2 runs. He went 5 innings in Chicago the time before and only gave up a run. Then he blanked the Brewers the time before that. He had a couple rough starts, but you know what? His ERA is coming down. He's pitched 70 innings this year, and he's got 90 strikeouts. And I think by the end of the season, he'll be right back to where he was. Maybe not record-wise, but his ERA will be in the 3s, and he will keep us in games.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm not discrediting Sonny whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, it was just painful to watch, but like, literally, look how happy this man was. This was his second hit. I'm trying to get it to focus, but his second hit, and he was sitting on the bag, just smiling. He was just having a good time, and like, nothing feels better than seeing, your starting pitcher on base for 1, and 2, so happy. Like, it makes me feel good. And we're in Chicago, and before this series, we were like 13-36 out of the last like 50 games there. And to go into Chicago and win 3 out of 4, all of that, was a good win for us. I don't care if the Cubs are struggling right now and they're working on getting rid of all their players. I don't care how we win that game. The fact that we won 3 out of 4, which we should have won 4 out of 4, I'm happy this week. As long as we don't go shut down in New York. It's not the West Coast, so I don't want to hear excuses.
No, I think
we don't have to face
these last 2 series against the Cards and the Cubs were very important. 3, we won 5 out of 7 games. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't have to face DeGrom, so I still think we'll win at least 1 game. We could definitely win 2. The Gutierrez game is the only one up in the air.
It just depends on how he pitches. If he pitches well against, and you know what? They could have opposite games like they had the last time. Gutierrez could pitch a gem and Stroman could drop an egg. It can happen at any point in time.
Speaking of Gutierrez, I really like how he's come along this year.
As a rookie, he's matured way beyond his years.
And, it just makes me happy to see us being able to put that guy in, when we were struggling at the starting pitcher position.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, Jeff Hoffman has been a pretty good reliever since they put him in the relieving role, and so is Santillan. Our bullpen is looking way better going forward.
Yeah, and there's still a couple guys in there I don't like, but I watched them pitch today, and they kept this game calm. They really blew it.
I think Hendricks is the next to go.
I don't like him or Brock, but they kept their composure. They only gave up 1 run.
Yes, I don't mind Brad Brock.
I'm not a huge fan of him. He's grown on me a little bit. He's gotten better.
He looks like
I know who he looks like, and maybe that's why I don't like him, because I can just see that.
Ridiculousness skateboard dude.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking. Rob Dyrdek?
Yeah.
No. I was thinking of like an older guy from a TV show I watch. But I think, with everybody coming off the injured list in the next few weeks, Lucas Sims, TJ Antone, Moustakis, Nick, Sinzel, like everybody. And we're already, kind of coming together. We got out of our rut after the All-Star break. Joey's hitting his best baseball ever. Everyone else is kind of following suit. I think Jesse Winker is on a 6-game streak of having hits with extra bases. Jonathan India is being amazing. Farmer has showed up all month.
And look at that. And then you've not even gotten to the Tyler Stevenson and Tucker Barnhart, who've put together some really good games catching lately. Did you see Tucker throw out Baez today at second?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he was dead to rights. He didn't have a chance. That was such a good throw.
Yeah, and Javi's fast.
And that's back to the point. Well, if they, I hope they keep Tucker for at least one. I hope they keep him for the team option for next year at least.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I like Tucker, and he just won the Golden Glove last year, and he's playing even better than he was last year.
Yeah, he'll probably win it this year too.
And he hasn't been batting as good, but he's like starting to come back into it that he was at the beginning of the season. He just went through a rut as well.
But he's hit timely. The 2-run double down the line. I mean, he's played pretty well.
I have no complaints. I think Stevenson is amazing. I think our rookies are too good to be true. But they're just good.
Yeah, Jonathan India is really heading towards Rookie of the Year.
I've been saying that, and you've shut me down 100 times. But
early on, he wasn't playing that well. I mean, he really wasn't. But when Moustakis got hurt and he got to play every day, that's when his game just changed. He turned into a totally different player, and why that is, who knows. But I can go back and show you where he was struggling at the plate, and now he looks like a seasoned veteran. And some of his numbers now.
They said that he's been on base with the consecutive months, June and July. Before this game was 99, and only one person has ever done that more, and they did it twice in 2 separate years. And I can't remember his name. Starts with an F. I think he was a Red.
Frank Robinson?
Yeah, Frank Robinson. He did it twice. And one of them was like 106 and 108, and I feel like between the next couple of games, if he's still hitting well, he will pass those before the month of July is done. It's just insane to me. He's been on base over 100 times in 2 months.
Yeah, I just noticed that when they were talking about, comparatively to the rest of the Major League Baseball, his stats were higher. He was comparing in the National League leaders as opposed to rookie leaders. He is dominating in rookies.
Is there an award for most hit by a pitch? Because him and Farm, they got that locked down.
Dude, you know what? There must be a lot of bad will towards this team because those two guys get hit a lot.
Yeah, they're the top 2 in the entire league of most hit by pitches. It was India with 1, and Kyle Farmer's at number 2 most. Farmer's been hit, I think, 14 times. India's pushing 20. Shogo got hit. Shogo and Kyle got hit in the same inning yesterday. And they kept that guy in. He hit 2 guys and walked a guy in between them. And they left him in. Cubs are dumb, man.
Yeah, I wish Mark would get in here tonight and try to defend some of the dumb shit that they do.
Oh, he'd have plenty to say, whether it made sense or not.
Yeah, but, the thing of it is that it would be stupid. I mean, I don't know what he could say.
That's so true. India had the toughest start to the season, man. It was like once a game. Literally, for his like first 5-6 games, he was hit by a pitch, twice of which in the head, which put him on the IR.
Yeah, dude he's killing it.
They had an interview with him, and they said in college and high school he got hit by the pitch a lot too. And it's not that he stands close to the plate; he actually stands really far back. I don't know how he gets hit so much. He's a ball magnet, dude.
Yeah, this Met series is really, to me, is really big.
I mean, yeah, like I know we can't beat them out for the division, but I feel like they become an important role in, this series becomes an important role for us.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 games. We got 3 games there, and then we start into August. And then here's the thing: we got 2 games with the Twins at home. Then we got a 4-game series with the Pirates, which we can do really well in. So if we do well against the Mets on the road, then we got 6 games at home that we have the potential that we could probably very easily win 4 of the 6, and that's gonna gain us ground. I guarantee it.
Yeah, like I said, the Padres have been struggling lately, and that's another another thing that's only going to help us. Every game we win and they lose is a whole game we've gained.
And then the week after that becomes, if they do well the week at home, the week after that becomes super important because you have Cleveland, Atlanta, and Philadelphia all on the road, and those are going to be tough series to win.
I think we have one makeup game with Cleveland at home in there somewhere.
It's at Cleveland.
Oh, well, it's just one game, I think.
Yep, that's on the Monday. We play Pittsburgh at home, we go to Cleveland, then we go to Atlanta for 3 and Philadelphia for 3. And then we play the Cubs and the Marlins at home again. And then comes that series.
The Marlins are a hit-or-miss team.
Yeah, they're very inconsistent, but they've got a really good manager in Don Mattingly. And they got a lot of really good talent. You'll see the shortstop that the Reds tried to get from him when we play that series, because I'm sure he'll still be there.
Yeah, we're only 4.5 games behind the Padres now.
Did they lose today?
Yeah. They lost against the A's or the Athletics or whatever. They lost like 10-1. And then I don't know if they played today or not. Oh, I think they're playing right now against Colorado.
I think they're playing Colorado.
Yeah, they're playing right now. They lost. Their last game was a loss. And so if they lose this game, we'll only be 4 games back. Speaking of sick uniforms, Shelby, I'm pretty sure the Mets are going to wear those blacked out jerseys during our series this weekend, and I'm kind of jealous. Everybody's doing some Photoshop edits of Nick Castellanos wearing the blacked out jersey, and they look so good. But the Mets ones, they look sick. I saw them on Twitter, and I'm jealous.
Padres are winning 1-0 in the top of the 6th right now against Colorado.
That's another hit-or-miss team.
Yeah, it's mainly missed, though.
Yeah, but they pulled out some big wins over some good teams this year.
Oh, no. Everybody's got to remember, a team may not be that great, but a team is full of professionals, and they get tired of losing.
Whoever the Tampa Bay played today, they beat them like 14-0.
I seen a Detroit and Minnesota game the other day that was 17-14. I thought it was a football score.
Dude, there was memes all over everywhere talking about that. It was like the Vikings beat the Lions. I've seen so many high-scoring games lately. The Reds in the National League, at least, I don't know how it ranks in comparison to all of the league, but the Reds have the second most number of 8 runs or more games, and the Dodgers are the only team in the NL ahead of them. But yeah, I mean, if Colorado can come through today, we'll only be 4 games back behind San Diego.
That'd be awesome. I mean, just closing that gap is important.
Well, since we won today, if the Padres win, do we move back to 5?
We stay whatever we were at. Whatever we were at the beginning of the day. Right now, we've gained a half game.
Yeah.
I think we're 5 right now, and if they
No,
lose,
we're 4.5 right now.
Oh well, then it would be 5 if they win.
Okay. Yeah, if we can win at least 2 out of 3 in New York, beat up on Pittsburgh a little bit, and hold our ground at our home games, we'll be okay.
So, I'm really hoping by the time we go to the game on the 21st, that Castellanos is back.
We're going the 22nd.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I looked it up today because we said Saturday.
It's Saturday the 21st.
Oh, you're right. It is 21st.
But I'm hoping Castellanos is back because of the seats that we got are right out there, right behind him. And the last time I had those seats, we sit out there and heckle Jay Bruce.
Yeah, I know. You've told me this story like 30 times.
But the thing about it was that it's a great spot to watch a game.
Oh, I mean, personally, I would rather be in the left field behind Wink, but I'm okay with that. Behind Wink and potentially Shogo.
Yeah, the 90s concert thing. The stage is in center field, so we will be facing the side stage kind of, so it'll be something like that. I don't know how much I'm really going to like that, but
I'm super jacked about it.
There's always the beer garden, right?
I don't drink beer, so no.
You'll have to try a Stella.
I mean, I've tried every beer you told me to try this far, so I'll try it, but I don't mean I'm going to like it.
That's the funny thing about beer is that when we're at a game, I can only drink them so long, and then they just start tasting bad.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Vanilla Ice is the man.
I think my boss is going to be at that game because of Vanilla Ice.
I don't know. I think we're going to live stream from that game.
You went on a live stream of Vanilla Ice concert?
No. But I think we ought to live from the game for a little bit.
We can do live commentary?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I would be fine with it.
What else we got today?
Football. All day, every day from here on out until February.
Anything new and exciting today from the NFL world?
Randall Cobb's a Packer again. Because Aaron Rodgers wanted him to be. Randall Cobb.
I like that, Deshaun Watson's on the scout team. So the scout team is probably going to beat the first team in Houston's practices.
Yeah. I mean, they got what? They got Ryan Finley and Tyrod Taylor.
And I guess Amanda would be the one to ask, but did Zach Wilson ever sign a contract for the Jets?
Okay, so I was listening in about this the other day. As far as I know, no. I'm just gonna Google it. Did Zach Wilson signed his contract.
And is there any details about the agreed terms with the Aaron Rodgers contract?
Zach Wilson, who was the only remaining unsigned first-round pick from the 2021 NFL Draft, has signed a fully guaranteed contract with the New York Jets, according to ESPN Adam Schefter. The deal is projected to be worth $35.1 million, including a signing bonus approximately $22.9 million.
Jesus Christ! And
Yeah,
what if that's a fully guaranteed contract? If he fails,
he still gets
it doesn't
$50 million.
how stupid? How you know what? He hasn't taken a fucking snap in the NFL. There is no way he's worth that kind of money.
And no, I mean, the Jets will always be the Jets, Dad.
Dude.
So, Aaron Rodgers the Packers officially void Aaron Rodgers' 2023 season and new contract adjustment. Knocks his contract with 3 years remaining into a 2-year deal.
So they did shorten the term of the contract. Did they change any of the money, or do you know?
Well, let's see what this says right here. If the Packers do not work to extend Rodgers, oh my God, stop! All these ads are popping up everywhere. Green Bay will still assume a $2.5 million cap in 2023 due to turning most of his 2019 salary into a signing bonus. Rodgers has earned the right to negotiate a contract in which he would make more than $25.5 million in cash in 2023, which he slated up for until today. All I see is that his 3rd year is removed. Wait, this one.
I guess there's video of him in training camp.
I mean, I watched it today. I watched like live.
He's jogging. Jordan Love is running.
Oh, well, do you want to see the media interview of him after his first day in training camp?
I don't think I care that much.
Well, he says
I was just curious.
he slips up. He's like, I do it for the something, and he was like, because I love this team. I love this the fans. I watched it. Hang on. Share screen. He looks homeless in this.
You know, I'm watching him take reps against Jordan Love, and Jordan Love looks really good.
Oh, yeah. It's like taking forever to load. There it is.
He looks skinnier. I thought that watching him play.
Not necessarily wanting to be a late quarterback, especially after the season. And then the other part in February was wanting to be a part of conversations along with free agents, which has never happened in my career. I've trained with a number of NFL guys most of my career in the off seasons. My agency, Anthony First, has had a number of high draft picks over the years. I've tried to pass along information. Hasn't really been used, shall we say. So I wanted to offer my services as a recruiter. And I think we can all understand that Green Bay isn't a huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me, play with our team.
Oh, that's not good.
The fact that I haven't been using those discussions is what I wanted to change moving forward. I felt like based on my years, the way I can still play, that should be a natural part of the conversation. As that progressed from that point, nothing really changed on that front. So we got into March, the conversation changed. As I felt like if you can't commit to me past 2021, and I'm not a part of a recruiting process of Breeze, if I'm not a part of the future, then instead of letting me be a lame duck quarterback, if you want to make a change and move forward, then go ahead and do it. That obviously didn't happen. Like I said, it wasn't the draft day thing. There were conversations.
He does kind of look homeless.
A number of months leading up to that. Post the draft, I think what basically happened was then they said, we'll give you some money now. Let's see if we can throw some money into it. I said from the start it wasn't about the money. Obviously, I didn't show up for the off-season program or mini camp. It was bigger than this. It was about trying to be a resource for the organization that I care about and love so much. So when the money came at me, the other part is, the backstory to that is, after the season, there was a part of me that did think that there would be conversation about the extension, based on my cap number this season, next season. It seemed natural based on the way I played to at least have a conversation about it. It wasn't a conversation. Not until into May. And that to me seemed like an analogy that you guys understand. You guys have a fantastic year at work. You write some great stories. You go to your boss and say, I just had an incredible year. I think I deserve a pay raise or some security in the process. Let's just see how it goes. A couple months down the line, you get another job opportunity, you go back to your boss and say, hey, I got this amazing job opportunity. No, we love you. We do want you to stick around. We do care about you. Just have the same feeling, and so, like I said, it was about the money and the way that felt, kind of just doubled down on that. Nothing really changed throughout the summer. There were obviously some developments in the last week or so, but I was really working on myself and my own mental state throughout the summer. At various points, decided if I wanted to even keep playing. But the fire still burns, and I wanted to be on the football team. We got some things figured out in the last few days.
I feel like that was a really respectful outing after his first day of training camp.
Sounded like a really respectful fuck you.
I mean, he basically called them out on their shit and couldn't hide it anymore. As much as I hated all of this, the more details that came out, I was less upset with him.
Well, personality-wise, he's kind of a douchebag.
Well, I mean, he's always been that way. I've always known that he's
so it's a lot easier to not like him. But at the end of the day, the one stance I took the whole time I'm gonna stick with is that he's still just a player. He's still just an employee of a team. He's supposed to honor his contract. If he wants to quit, then he needs to quit football. Play out your contract. You signed it. It's yours. For better or for worse, play it out. You shouldn't be able to negotiate raises and threaten retirement to get a raise. Whatever.
Well, he didn't get a raise.
No, I know.
He didn't want a raise.
Well, that's not what he said.
That's literally what he said.
He said, I just had one of those seasons I thought I deserved a raise.
No, he said that he said, I just had one of those seasons. I had a really good year. It wasn't that he was asking for a raise. He was like, that I should be in the conversation that is involving my future. And they said, we'll worry about it later, and then never said anything to him at all.
Well, he said he thought he deserved a raise.
No,
and
he was
then,
using that as an example. You overlooked that.
Oh, well, because the way he then said, and then he says, well, now I got this other opportunity. Maybe somebody reached out to try to trade is what I took out of that. And then they're like, hey, wait a second. No. And, they
And
kind of
then
backpedaled.
they started throwing money at him, and he said, and I didn't want money.
Okay.
That's why I had a lot of respect for him for opening up. This wasn't the full interview. That was just what was on that clip. But I had a lot of respect for that because he did say fuck you to them. And he explained why.
But still, at the end of the day, he's still an employee. He signed a contract. Legally, he should just play his contract out.
Well, legally, everyone should do that. But anytime anyone cries, they just let them do whatever. But, I'm taking this the exact same way as I'm taking Deshaun Watson wanting out. Because, all these guys either were free agents or wanted to go, and they let him go and basically picked apart that team. And, without saying a word to Deshaun Watson, but in some of that interview with Aaron Rodgers, he was like, we had a lot of big names that went into free agency, and you didn't even ask me about, like a lot of the long-term players that he had played with, Randall Cobb being one of them. He was like, he gave a list like 15 guys over his career that they just let go for no reason. And
well, it wasn't no reason that they let go. It's financial.
Yeah, but there's also restructure.
Yeah, but that means that Aaron would have had to restructure because the amount of money he was getting paid.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. Is like, if you would have just talked to me, I would have been fine with it. But they wouldn't talk to him about any of it. They just did things, and that's why he's mad.
But as the employer, they don't have to discuss shit.
Yeah, but he would have taken a pay cut for those guys to stay.
Now that's maybe their ignorance, right? Their ignorance is thinking that, but for not doing it. But at the end of the day, it's still their right to do whatever they want with their team. He's just an employee of their team.
We're not gonna see eye to eye on this because I'm fully understanding it now, and you're just telling me why I'm wrong.
No, I'm just saying that Aaron Rodgers is technically wrong, even though in my mind, he's right. I think he's wrong because he signed a contract.
I thought he was wrong at the beginning of all of this. But now I see why he's right.
I'm just saying that they don't have to negotiate with him after he signs a contract. He's an employee.
But if it's going to help them and benefit them, he's willing to take a pay cut, I feel like that is a conversation that he should be allowed to argue that should happen. It's only going to help everyone else. It's not just benefiting him. If he wants to take out $5 million of his contract so it can be restructured to put into guys he wants to throw the ball to that was already on the team and they let go, I feel like that should be a conversation that is at least had. They don't have to listen to him, but they should at least have the conversation. And he's saying they never once had a conversation with me. They didn't care what I thought. And that is what he's upset about. It has nothing to do with the money. He doesn't want more money at this point. He wants them to at least ask him whether they take in consideration what he's saying or not. They want his opinion, and they don't speak to him at all. They just do things, and it pisses him off because they're just throwing random guys in there and forcing him to work with what he's got. Not saying he's got anything wrong, because I like all of their offense, but I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I still, at the end of the day, you're both sides are theoretically, in a sense, correct. I'm not going to say that. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying that.
You're saying, I'm not telling you you're wrong, but you're wrong.
I'm saying that the team is not wrong. The team has the right to do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's their team.
But if you have a franchise quarterback, you should at least respect him a little bit. They shouldn't let him run the team,
I think the contract that he signed that we all agreed was way too much money for anybody to make, that he took, that he had to have, that he signed 2 years ago, was him saying that he cared about himself and not the fucking team. Now I can't be the other way because everybody agreed.
I think, yeah, but after he came out about his whole career. He's not just talking about right now. That is what you're not understanding. I wish you would just listen to me. He finally opened up and said at every point in his career. So he probably signed that because he knew it doesn't matter. They're not going to listen to me anyway. I might as well take the money.
But here's the thing, it's contradictory. He signed a contract that he knew would take away from his good players. He signed a contract that everybody said was too much money. Yeah. He took it. He signed a fucking deal.
He's literally saying now that, there was it didn't matter what he did. Whatever was handed to him was handed to him. If it was nothing or if it was everything, he was going to sign it. If it was 10 million or if it was 100 million, he was going to sign it because he's saying.
But that's not the way that played out. When that played out.
I'm telling you what he said. I'm telling you what he said.
But when it played out, the argument was over the amount of money he was going to get paid for what he provided.
I agree. Yeah, I remember.
He negotiated that contract, and now he's saying that they don't care what I think, but they paid him an inordinate amount of money because of what the going rate was in the NFL, and he did not want to be underpaid.
I understand not wanting to be underpaid, but listen, I know exactly what you're saying. I remember. I was there. I remember. But at the end of the day, we don't know all the details of those negotiations, for one. We were not present in those conversations. But he may have signed for too much money. But
he signed a contract that he knew would take away from the players he had in the future of his team. He willingly took.
He knows that it doesn't matter.
If you willingly take money that you know is going to hurt somebody else down the road, and then you want to complain about who it hurts down the road, then you're a fucking hypocrite.
I'm not saying he's a good person. I never once said he was a good person. I literally almost hate Aaron Rodgers as much as I hate Tom Brady. And it's always been that way.
I'm just saying he's a hypocrite.
I'm not defending him for his person. I'm
but
defending him on what that video said.
Right.
And you just misconstrued what that video said.
I know, but it doesn't mesh with what's happened in the past. It's what he wants to say right now for publicity or whatnot.
But
it's what he has to say.
The word he said.
I got what he said, and he says it's not about the.
He was not forced to say any of that. What is literally what you just said. So don't say you didn't just say that. He was not forced to say that, because if you watch the full thing, it straight up name drops. He gives you every situation that ever happened.
I know, but that's now. When he signed the contract 3 years ago, it was a totally different scenario. And he wanted money. He didn't give a fuck about team. He wanted to be the highest paid quarterback. That was the argument that they had.
Everybody wants to be the highest paid quarterback, Dad.
Yeah, but he said, you're saying that he wants the better team, but yet he took a contract that he fucking knew that they couldn't pay everybody. And then he complains about him going away, and then his opinion doesn't matter. I just think that he's a fucking horrible individual. And now he's saying what he thinks is right to say now. After he took all this money, everybody agreed that it was too much fucking money. Everybody took it, and now he's got to. And now I would have took a pay cut. He wouldn't have took a pay cut when he signed that deal. He had to have that money, and now this is the repercussions of what he did. And so, if he wants to talk his way out of it, that's great.
I'm not saying he's talking his way out of anything. I'm telling you why he's upset. And this was before that contract ever happened.
Well, that makes no sense. Why take a contract that's going to hurt your team? Why do that? Why not ask for the trade then?
Well, he took that contract before they drafted Jordan Love also. Sure. I think he assumed he was going to get those shoes filled by young rookie wide receivers, and they didn't take any wide receivers. They took a quarterback.
So they didn't do what he wanted, so he says he's going to quit because they drafted a quarterback. You're defending a guy that
I'm not defending him. I literally just told you 5 minutes ago that he's probably in my top 5 most hated NFL athletes.
But you're defending. You're not. You're
I'm
just
making
saying
sense for you, and you are just stubborn and hard-headed.
Okay. One last time. What did I miss?
No. Because as soon as I tell you what you missed, you're going to tell me why I'm wrong again. You're just going to repeat yourself. That's what we just did for the last 20 minutes.
I'm just saying that whatever he's saying that makes anybody believe that he's, that he was wrong, I don't believe. Why should I believe
all of it?
I mean, why would you believe? I mean, why would you believe it?
I mean, there's a lot of shit that happens, and why would we believe it? And it ends up being true across the NFL.
I mean, a month ago, he said unless they fired the GM, he would never play in Green Bay again. But guess what he did? He suited up.
I never saw anything from where he actually said that.
Oh, I know that one's true. That was the demand.
This is the first time I'm hearing that.
You've never heard that he demanded?
It's literally the first time I'm hearing that. Why would I lie about that?
Okay. But he did demand the GM.
I'm not telling you you're lying. You don't have to get upset and go find it. I'm not telling you that you're lying. I'm just telling you I've never heard that.
I'm just saying that everything is contradictory. Rodgers asked the Packers for a new contract with guaranteed money to cover at least the next 2 years. But the counter, wait a minute a second, maybe that's not that. A player asking the team to fire the GM is a massive demand, even for someone of Rodgers' stature. It's also one Packer seems unlikely to agree to. What day was that? I was trying to figure out which date that was. But that's what he demanded a month ago.
Yeah.
May 1st.
That was not a month ago, and I've never heard of that. You know what? The last 6 months of Aaron Rodgers' life and involving the Green Bay Packers has been a total shit show. None of it makes sense. None of it's okay. And there's no reason.
Those are his words.
Those are his words, but I've also heard the Packers' words, and I've heard his teammates' words. All I've seen and all I've heard is it's a shit show. No one knows what's going on. We'll figure it out. And that has been exactly what it – don't exactly me.
That's exactly it. The only thing you know is what has happened. He signed a fucking contract that would take away from his future team, and then now he wants to cry about it because the GM won't draft who he wants him to draft.
What's the point of having a franchise quarterback if you're not going to, help the franchise quarterback? That's the same thing. Like Patrick Mahomes has say in who they draft as well. And everyone got offended when Joe Burrow wanted Jamar Chase. Listen, if it backfires, then that's on Joe Burrow.
Here we go. I got it for you that you'll take it as a good example. Patrick Mahomes went and restructured his own deal in order to make his team better. He voluntarily went and did it. Did Aaron Rodgers volunteer to give up money when it was time? He did not. He obviously didn't, because do you think a team would say, if you walked in and said, hey, I'll take $5 million less this year if you draft me what I want in the first round, any team would have restructured.
This is all I'm saying. I agree with this statement. If Joe Burrow has a say in who you draft,
I don't think Joe Burrow should have had a say.
I think if you're building a team around a person, or that person's already your guy and you want to keep making your team better around that guy should have input. It doesn't matter if they're just an employee. They should have input.
They should have input, but he had input when his input was his contract. Well, the money he begged for and he got. And then it took away from the future. And that's why they drafted the quarterback. They drafted Jordan Love because they couldn't maintain a winning team with Aaron Rodgers' contract.
What do you mean they couldn't maintain a winning team? Every single year they're in the NFC Championship, no matter who's in that lineup.
They couldn't maintain the team that he wanted. How's that? Let me rephrase. They had to let people go. They had to. They have to.
Yeah, every single year they have the same result every single year. It doesn't matter who they have on the team.
So then Aaron Rodgers is wrong.
Either way, I'm not going to win this argument with you because you're acting like Mark. You're literally acting like Mark.
Oh, no. No chance in hell.
All
I'm
of a
just
sudden,
because
I
I'm
feel
taking an opposing point.
No, you're defending it like Mark would. You're gonna
Oh,
just tell me
no.
why I'm wrong everything I say.
But there's everything that he has done has stated. Everything that he has done has stated that he's about him. He never stated anything that's about the team. After May 1st, we didn't hear shit for a month. But May 1st, he came out and said that if they don't fire the fucking Gutekunst, I quit. I'm going to retire. Everything was about him. And now, all of a sudden, it's lo and behold, I would have restructured. I would have done this. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. He took the money. He signed the deal.
Okay. You're right. Does that make you feel better? I'm not. That wasn't a.
No, I just
You're right, but I'm gonna keep telling you you're right.
I just can't. I don't understand where your argument is going.
It's because I have given you one piece and you never let me finish. You cut me off, so now everything I've said doesn't make sense because you will not let me finish one single thought. So therefore, you're getting quarters of every thought, and now everything I say doesn't make sense. And I'm done talking about it because I'm not going to repeat myself. I have repeated myself 12 times, and you've told me why I was wrong, and I have never once finished a single thought. You're allowed to hate Aaron Rodgers as much as I am. I don't care.
I just don't see where he did anything that benefited his team ever, other than win games.
I feel like that's the biggest benefit.
That's what his job was. His job was to go out and win games. His job is not to run the team. His job is not to request players for the team. He requests his contract. He fulfilled his contract. That's it. That's why he's playing, because he wants money. He would have retired. I just can't fathom anything else. I haven't heard one thing that says, I haven't seen that he did one thing other than some fucking interview today that looks like he's the right person in this deal.
I never said either side was the right person. I'm just saying I understand what he's saying. And not everything he said was about him. Why are you doing that?
I'm not. They keep coming up on my freaking screen.
Why'd you turn your camera off? Because you're upset?
Because I don't understand what your point is. I have no concept of thinking that. I've never seen an instance where somebody demands and they're just, and if they don't get what they want,